You're gonna see a few edits in this video because my throat's so gargly right now from like the drainage and just coughing and stuff. And clearly, like, you don't want to see that on camera. Hi, today is October 15th, 2022. My name is Lisa, in case you didn't already know. And today I have some coffee with me because it is Saturday morning and, well, I got plans today and decided that I was going to get this done early. Anyways, I still am getting over that cold. You can hear it in my throat a little bit because I have like that wet vocal quality and I'm just kind of like counting down the days until it's done. But, you know. So recently I've been having some trouble staying on diet, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I've been traveling a lot. When you're traveling, it just adds a lot of extra stress, and just you feel hungry when you're stressed. I think this also has to do with the fact that I've been working really hard because it's October is one of those quarter periods, so you have a lot of paperwork to do in my field, and so I've just been doing so much paperwork. But anyways, as I'm working these really long days, and I'm just like, so I'm working long days and I'm stressed out because I'm traveling, and then I just start snacking. And so I snack on things, and they're not like unhealthy things. Like they're things that fit into my diet, like pork rinds and like vegetables and fruits. But I'm just having, I think, way too many of them just because I'm just hungry all the time. And this is further exacerbated by the fact that, like, you know, as a woman, we have like a hormonal cycle throughout the month. And I don't think a lot of men understand just how much it affects our bodies. And it especially affects weight loss. So, for example, as a woman, you're really only going to see 2 weeks of significant weight loss per month. So if you're a man and you have a steady diet, you're likely going to see a consistent rate of weight coming off or pounds of fat coming off. But as a woman, we have our ovulation period and we also have our period. So during like that ovulation in pre-period phase, you put on a bunch of water weight. So you're just gaining weight and you're also getting all of those cravings too. Like that's what the whole PMS thing is. But you're putting on water weight and it stays until about a few days into your period, and then all the water weight comes off. And right after your period's done, that's when you can get like a better idea of if you've actually lost weight those last 2 weeks. But in that 2 week period, it's kind of up in the air whether or not your diet is working. I've been finding myself becoming very discouraged during those 2 week periods. Even though I know exactly what is going on, it just doesn't help when you're like standing on a scale and you see the numbers gone up. Yeah, you might know it's an artificial number, it doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't do anything for the psychology of that weight loss journey. And I think the psychology of weight loss is just, it's so important because I don't think people who have never been overweight, I don't think they understand just how like mentally draining and just how depressed somebody can be when they're overweight. Like you can be depressed and not even know you're depressed, or you can have anxiety and not even know you have anxiety because it's a constant state that you live in being overweight. And what do I mean by like constant state? I'm meaning like, for example, if you're 100 pounds overweight, you're used to carrying that 100 pounds every single day. All the little aches and pains kind of like get dulled and go to the back of your mind because it's just something you're used to. Your muscles grow as you're carrying around that 100 pounds of extra fat. Now, let's say you're just somebody who's an average weight person and you put on a 100-pound bodysuit and you try to carry that around all day, you're going to be extremely sore. You're going to have a lot of aches and pains that are going to be noticeable to you because you're not used to carrying around that much weight. It's kind of the same thing with anxiety and depression and all these other mental ailments. It's kind of like you're used to being in this kind of dampened state, so it's hard to recognize that you're actually in that state. I only bring this up to kind of talk about how it's really affected me this past month. I think especially as the days are starting to get shorter, we're heading into fall, or we're in fall, but we're heading into winter. And as we approach winter, it's going to be even harder to lose weight because there's less daylight. We have less chance to get like vitamin D. My friend Alex would tell you how it affects your thyroid, and just winter's really bad for your thyroid. And I do have hypothyroidism. Even though I'm on medication, I do notice a slowing of metabolic processes the colder that it gets. That's kind of one of the reasons why I decided to move down south for these last 2 years. I was really hoping to kind of use that opportunity to be in a warmer climate so that I could continue to lose weight throughout the winter. Last year was a complete and total bust because, yeah, I was warmer in winter, but I just kept getting colds followed by pneumonia over and over and over again. And that happened for 6 months. And like, thank God I got a really good allergenist, because turns out these colds I were getting were actually being sparked by like allergic irritation that was causing sinus infections that were leading then to bronchitis that then led to pneumonia. And I was having to go on a ton of steroids, which is not good for you. And that was basically the only way I could overcome those colds. But now that I'm actually doing a lot better health-wise, I think part of that's just we were immune deficient for 2 years due to not being around anybody else. And so we all had to catch up last year, and everybody just got sick. Now, like with this cold I have now, it's not bad at all. Yeah, it's a really long cold, but it's not like one that's going to turn into pneumonia like the ones I had last year. So what am I expected to lose this month? I mean, I think if I'm lucky, I'll lose maybe 1 or 2 pounds, but I'm not really expecting to lose much weight at all. I am planning on getting back on track this next month. I'm really going to work hard until Thanksgiving. So I'm planning on working out tomorrow. I'm going to try and go back to the gym and just try and work out, because I kind of put that off for the last month since I was adjusting to the new work environment, and just, work was really stressful. But I think I'm now at a place where I can start working out again and not feel too exhausted or too overwhelmed by adding that extra exercise. And I also think people need to recognize these kinds of setbacks with weight loss happen, and they're okay. And it's not like I've been gaining weight. I'm just kind of like not losing at the moment, which is perfectly fine, because sometimes your body needs to adjust. Sometimes it needs to be like, okay, I'm not going to gain this weight back, but let's try to figure out what this new stasis is with this weight. So it's okay to take little breaks, and it's as long as you get back on track and figure out like what you want to do. So I know I've been talking to one of my friends, and he's like, well, should I lower like a couple hundred calories now that I'm losing weight? What should I do? And just trying to figure out what your next steps with diet are now that you're losing weight. Because you got to remember, you can go on a diet for, say, you're eating 2,000 calories a day as an obese person, but then, you lose 30 pounds. Well, now you have to eat less. And you have to continue to eat less with the more weight that you lose. So each time you have to make those adjustments, it can be really shocking and jarring to your body and to your overall mental health, because, you kind of got used to eating this amount of food, and now it's being taken away from you. And so psychologically, it's like, oh, I'm eating less over and over and over again, even when you're not even eating that much at all. So one of the main things I have been doing to try and overcome these setbacks is just reminding myself, like, hey, you've been here before. This is normal. And also, it's so important to have a weight loss partner. Like, don't put all your hopes and dreams of your perfect body on this weight loss partner, but, you need them to talk to help talk you through those dark times when you're like doubting yourself and your ability to do this. Because you can do it. It does take some talking and some mindset shifts to overcome. But thinking about going back to the gym, it does remind me, like, what is my ideal body type at the end of this journey? And I've always been one of those people where I've always wanted to be athletic. Like, I was born with like very athletic skills, I would say. Like, I have very good hand-eye coordination. I've always been like naturally good at sports, especially individual sports like martial arts and dance. But it's kind of been hard my entire life just because I had this genetic disease I didn't know about that was like causing me to partially dislocate my limbs all the time. And that was making it very difficult to like, do any sort of physical activity and not get injured. And I definitely got this from my mom. My mom is extremely athletic. My brother is extremely athletic. And I always wanted to have an ideal athletic body type like they did. But, it's very hard to do that when you have significant hormonal issues and a disease that keeps getting you injured. So my ideal body type would be just to be fit. Like, I don't want to be the thinnest person in the world. I don't care about being a size 0 or a size 2 or even a size 4, like those ideal sizes that we would think about for women, at least for other women. Like, women think about that for women. I don't think men think about those sizes at all, but women think about it, and I just think that would be too thin. It's not the kind of body I want. I would rather be like a size 8 or a 10 if I had muscles to pack on my body that would show that I put in all this hard work, working out and getting strong and fit. And also, like, that kind of body type will make it significantly better for me to not get injured. Like, it will be harder to get injured the stronger the muscles I have, just because now that I know this issue I have is a joint issue, my joints are just like really loose, that I need stronger muscles to help kind of like really put those joints, like help stabilize them, is what I'm trying to say. And this also reminds me of this time I was like a freshman in undergrad, and there was this woman who came in, and she was talking to us about body issues because, obviously as like 18, 19-year-old girls, a lot of girls really will experience eating disorders at this time. And so they had this counselor come in, and it was like a mandatory thing that all the girls had to attend our freshman year for our dorm. And she was talking about, like how it's important to accept your bodies, but, like we shouldn't have unhealthy bodies, which was good because you won't hear that much. You won't hear that much these days. People will be like, oh, you're beautiful the way you are. And maybe you are beautiful, but doesn't mean that you're healthy. But she came in and she was talking to us, and I asked her, because I was only like a little bit overweight at this time. I thought I was massive, but I was only a little bit overweight. And I asked her, like, well, what is a healthy size for our body types? Like, how do we know when we've hit a weight that's good for us? And she said, you will know that you're at the weight that you want to be when you can do all the things that you want to do. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently, because like, what are the things that I want to do? I've talked about how I really want to get back into hiking. I really want to one day maybe run a marathon. And I want to be able to do like trekking. I want to trek/hike over the Appalachian Mountains and do that for several months at a time. But to do that, I would have to be in really good physical shape. So because those are the things that I want to be able to do, that's the kind of body type that I will finally be happy with when I lose the weight, gain the muscle, and get there. Anyways, that's really all I have to talk about for today. This video is probably not going to be very long, but I will do another vlog in another couple of days. I kind of have some plans this weekend, so maybe I'll talk about those. Maybe I'll talk about what I did last weekend, where I went to that wedding, which was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend.